Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Bonko and Monte, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode here, Trident Wargaming. Andy here again, and with me is Jason as well. How goes?
Howdy.
Excellent. Doing good?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Rocking and rolling.
Very nice. So today, in this episode, very excited, as you can probably see behind me, the Combined Arms box set. We've got our hands on it a couple weeks ago, and we're just finally kind of getting to it now. So excited to go through this box set and kind of talk about some of the rules and like the actual application of this system, both as I guess the the board game, and the more exciting part of it for me is the campaign portion of it. So this will be a fun episode for sure. Some good ideas we'll probably have to write down and, plan
Yoink.
for future campaigns. Before we get started, we'll kind of do a little bit of rambling about our current campaign. Which just started last week, actually. And
Wednesday.
So that's the usual day we play our games is Wednesday nights, and kicked off doing the Stalingrad campaign out of the actual campaign book, following pretty much the campaign system there with the the VP tracker and all that stuff and territories. I'll probably put a post up here with pictures for what our map looks like and stuff, with a little bit of minor adjustments. But yeah, that kicked off. We had a good 8 players, I believe. 8 players, battling it out and having a good time.
And it did not go very well for Mother Russia. Let me say that. I know on my end, I got trounced.
Yeah, no, same thing on my side. I definitely got rocked. It wasn't a good battle for me. Knocking off the Rust, yes, because I haven't played my Soviets in a long time, but it was definitely one of those missions that was kind of like, okay, I made some mistakes. Time to recoup and figure this out, for the next scenario, next match. So
yeah,
but it seemed like everybody had fun regardless, right?
Yep.
So 4 territories were being attacked, and the German forces were able to take 3 out of the 4 territories. They gained a whackload of VPs, which gave them an additional order dice to use for initiative and for picking pretty much where they're attacking and stuff. So good on them. Dusty was our champion of the motherland who held off in the workers district, the workers village, I guess. So kind of our saving grace. He saved us a round before complete annihilation.
Phew.
So
yeah, it was not looking good. Thanks to him, we have at least 2 more weeks mathematically of
thanks, Dusty.
of campaign. I don't know that the campaign system accounted for the Russians losing every game, but
yeah, it was
it
good.
Might be fast.
It was a good chuckle. Everybody was like, "So, gonna be a quick campaign, eh?" So, but no, it was really fun. It was good to have everybody out. Did a little bit of work on like the map and whatnot, and then
it looks great.
Yeah, it does. Thanks. It's it was pretty easy to do. but it's that extra piece, you know what I mean? Just to give it a little bit of extra oomph for the players and to actually be able to see. Plus, for the community to see too that, hey, you know what, we are doing things, and we're trying to make things happen so that, you know, you get more players. Like, that was the first time in a while we actually had 4 games going, so it was good. And I'm hoping to see more of it. And the nice thing too about it is it's actually kind of an open end campaign. So if I do have extra players who want to jump in, they can just message me and say, hey, yeah, I want to jump in, and just go from there, right? So it'd be pretty neat. It'd be nice to see some of the old faces come in and maybe play some games, but regardless, it was good, and it's good to see the mechanics in action as well. Just to see, you know, down the road for the next one, which will actually use the combined arms rules instead, because we do have a game plan with a larger map and territories and hexes, so it works quite well, and we'll talk about that as soon as we get the combined arms. But yeah, went pretty strong. The guys are already set up for pretty much what territories they want to attack and whatnot. So they've already kind of decided that. Now we just got to go kind of through the missions and tweak them a little bit to fit our setting, right? So yeah, good stuff on everybody's end, on everybody's part. This has also sparked me pulling out my Soviets and dusting them off, and trying to probably start building some more of them and hopefully get some paint on them as well. So
nice.
Yeah, I know you were working on your Soviets for a while, right? So
Yeah, I was working on them, and then it's a lot of browns,
mm-hmm.
and then I fell off the wagon, or on the wagon, however the hell that drunk does it. I stopped working on them, but I'm totally inspired to pick them back up and get going again, which is kind of the fun of the, when you get a new campaign or a new game going. So yeah, I've been kind of pushing me to finish off those armies, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah, no, for sure. I hear you. I know this year I'll get at least one bolt action army fully painted. So that is one of my goals. But I definitely want to get more, considering I have tons. But overall, yeah, no, it's good. It's fun. I'm sure everybody's excited for next round. So the pairings are slightly different now. So everybody will actually get to play somebody different, so it doesn't get stale or something like that. Because sometimes campaigns can do that. But But yeah,
I like how you decided to do that, to basically rotate who plays.
Yeah.
Who, since that doesn't necessarily matter. We're not defending our own individual territories, so we're more flexible with that. It's just the overall, campaign area.
Yeah.
That we all pair off and do the battle. So I think that was a smart choice.
Yeah, and I think it's important to do that in a sense, just so that you are playing different people. They have different armies. There's different tactics. It just so people can get that exposure to other players as well, instead of like, oh, I gotta play Jason for the 6th time in a row.
Yeah, I'm getting so tired of beating him.
Because there has been some campaigns that I've played in way back when in the past, where like you were just pitted up against your best buddy every time, and it was just a grudge fest of just an ongoing battle between these two armies, and like you're losing so many points and you're losing so many units, and you're not playing anybody else who's actually in the game, and it's like, okay, enough's enough, right? So
yeah,
No, it's good. This will be good. It allows people to change their armies up, be flexible, this and that, and play other people too. So, but yeah, overall good. I'm quite enjoying it. I'm glad how it's turned out. But going forward with campaign talk and all that, combined arms. This is so this is the one game or one expansion game release that Warlord Games had mentioned a while back. It's funny enough, I think it was on my first or second podcast for Trident Wargaming that I had John Russell on, and he mentioned it, and that was like over a year and a half ago, probably.
Yeah.
So, but now it's here. From what I've seen and read, like I've gone through the book kind of like 2 times already. Really liking what I see. Just quickly overall, really like that. What I see, more so for the actual campaign, utilizing the other systems, Bolt Action, Victory at Sea, Cruel Seas, Blood Red Skies. I think it can make for very interesting campaigns, for communities, and getting people involved in these large kind of World War II battles and just campaigns, right? Theaters.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool. Your thoughts, Jason?
I kind of see it as a tool set.
Mm-hmm.
More than a finished game. You can play it as a board game, I guess. To each their own.
Yeah,
I think there's probably better board games if that's what you want. But as a way to link campaign games, a simple system that should be fairly easily manipulated and customized to whatever you want. It's really it's so simple that I should have thought of it, but I clearly never did. You know what I mean? Until it's because it seems very simple.
Yeah.
But like, why didn't I think of that? Every time I tried to we a couple of weeks ago sat down and we were trying to, suss out, or a month ago, trying to suss out what we could do for a hex-based campaign, and we had all sorts of ideas, but they were all like
a bit complex.
Complex and convoluted, and or going the other way and being too simple and not, inclusive enough of various elements. I think this is just a tool set that we can apply to the maps they give you, which are nice. But I think, honestly, I know you got that really cool Normandy map.
Yeah.
We'll probably use, and probably in the future too, more elaborate maps, maybe making for a little bit of a longer campaign.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that this is how we're gonna do it.
No, you said it right there. Like, it's a tool. Definitely, it's a tool for this kind of stuff. And funny you mentioned how we were, we talked about doing campaigns, and we were talking about like turn sequences and like initiative and armies and how complex do we want to get into with it, right? And a lot of the stuff that's in here was very similar, to the overall idea of what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right. But this just had kind of refined it to a point of, hey, let's do this. You can do these games in this campaign. Here's your point levels. Go play some battles. Have fun.
Yeah.
Here's some results. This is what happens when winner and loser, right? So, but yeah, like simple ideas that actually make it into an actual system that is like just works, right? Like it just works. Like reading into the actual campaign section of it at the back of the, that's where I started when I actually opened the book, because I went straight to the campaign section, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very simple. They pretty much tell you, okay, you know, get rid of these cards and put these cards in that are applicable to the game that you're playing or that you're having involved in your campaign, and go from there. Here's your points. This is the armies. This is how you deploy. It's all in the book. And it just, you get to play with it, and you actually have your armies on this map, and you have pieces, right? And it makes for a start of a beautiful thing, a campaign.
And I mean, we were having trouble sussing out how to pull together a bolt action campaign. This lays it out for bolt action, victory at sea, cruel seas, blood red skies.
Exactly.
To all tie together fairly easily, right? And most of us have a form of, some of us idiots, me, has all of them.
What do you mean, you?
But I don't think you have cruel seas. I think I got one
I
up
do.
on you.
You
do? Oh,
you have,
okay.
You have more cruel seas than I do, but I do have it.
So anyway, some of us idiots have all of them. But even if they don't, and even if not everybody has it, you can still make it work in the campaign. You have the two clowns that have that sea army, or navy, I guess that's what they call them, and you know, the sea armies, and and you let them battle it out on the sea if you want, or you can just do a dice roll.
Yeah.
You know. Or leave them out of the campaign if it's a system that people just aren't interested in or don't have.
Or maybe you're playing a portion of Europe that there really is no.
You're playing the Eastern Front. You're not going to need a big navy, right?
Exactly. So.
But I love the concept that I can have all of those working in, and what a great way to introduce players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because also the other thing is, you don't need a lot to play the other games.
No, you don't.
So it would be, you know, fairly easy to say, you know, I kind of have both forces. Let's just have, you know, I'll bring both forces, and we can have a battle with one of the other players that maybe never tried it before, and go
exactly,
through it, you know?
Exactly.
Like, what a great way for people to have a reason to try a game. And selfishly, as a guy that plays the game already, I might be able to expand the player horizon. You know, that my player enemy board a little bit.
Oh, for sure. You might actually have people interested in the other game, right? So
yeah,
that's like you said, it's a good way of drawing people in. And it's great. In all honesty, it's great. It's. I am very pleased of what they had brought out for this, and how simple it is, and how easy. Like, read the book in just a couple hours, kind of thing, right? Reread it, read other parts of it. So, neat thing to I'll show you off some of the stuff that comes in. You do have couple of boards for combined arms. This is where all your cards go, your operations boards. There's different things that happen. You do have pretty much an initiative and order board here as well. You do get the nice sprues with the units and objective markers, which are pretty cool. And you do have your units and whatnot. Cool thing about this is there is another old classic game called Axis and Allies that has tons of pieces like this, that if you wanted to do a more grander scale campaign, you definitely can use that stuff for it, right? So that's pretty cool. And of course you get them in different colors for the two forces, or a neutral force or something like that. I don't know why there's 3 colors, but anyways.
I think the gray is neutral, the green is allies, and the tan is axis. I don't know why you get the neutral forces. I think it's just the sprue.
Probably just they probably just printed a sprue off, right?
It costs them the same to print a sprue as it does to. It's cheaper than doing a separate.
Exactly.
So you just get extras, I guess. Paint them green or brown if you want to.
You do get a whole bunch of card packs that come with the game as well. There's stuff for your objective cards. There's victory cards. There's also like other stuff that happens in the game. Initiative cards that have like bonuses to what can happen. You know, you play this before land battle and such stuff will happen, kind of thing, right? Bonuses. And then there's situation cards as well. And there's like weather changes. So it's pretty neat. They did put a lot into it, and just changes the battle up a little bit, changes the actual map a little bit as well, because some units, you know, they can't move as fast, or the weather has changed and this has happened, stuff like that. So neat thing about it is when you start going through, like, you know, how to play the game kind of thing, you've pretty much got 4 phases, and you got like an order phase, an air phase, a resolution phase, and of course the end phase. So you pretty much get to order, you know, your units that you have. And I think it's up to 3, I think, infantry and 3 tanks and naval and air force. Yeah, that's the amount of minis that you have. But it's up to 6 units, I think it is, when you like decide to deploy them on your map. And then you start giving orders and whatnot, and different phases happen in the game. So, you know, I'm not going to be going through like all the actual rules and whatnot for the game itself, but just kind of give you a little examples here and there of stuff too. One thing I thought was really cool is when you do select an order to give to a unit, it's based off of this here, where you have your land, you know, your air and your sea, and it allows you to move that many units. Plus, so these guys here that have the ring around it, they're like concealed units, right? So this is the part I thought was cool, is you have concealed units, and the way they tell you to do it is you take these tokens, and one token is the actual force, and then the other token is like a scout force, right? And you move them the same way, but your enemy doesn't know which one's the actual force.
Yeah,
right?
because one side shows it's a 2-sided cardboard token. One side shows just like blank colors.
Yeah.
The other side shows this is the unit, and one of the tokens says this is unit, one of the tokens says nothing. So, or it's a scout, I think it says, and the other one says nothing.
Yeah, so those are...
Yeah.
Those there kind of thing, right? And then, of course, you have the types of and colors of units. So
exactly. So they don't know which one is which until they actually move their unit next to it and engage that unit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they might have wasted a move or moved in the wrong direction to get that blank unit, which is nothing. So it's, you know, you're able to outsmart your enemy. You through a counter or a feint attack in that direction, or some kind of subterfuge happened. Anyway, you tricked them into going the other way, allowing your forces, your real forces, to do what they wanted to do, which I think is clever. Or it forces them to commit 2 units, right? One going to this one going to this one, instead of doing something that they wanted, which I love in a game where it forces you to react, forces the enemy to react to something you do. So I thought that, and it's how simple is that? It's a very simple mechanic. It's easy to follow. It kind of accomplishes what it does. It fits narratively.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
I really like it. A lot of the things kind of work that way, and even just like you know the cards and how they apply to the games, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Like
read
one
one.
of the yeah, read one if you have it there in front of you.
So let me see here. So yeah, for a bolt action game, they have chosen battlefield. So you play this before a land battle happens, which pretty much is two of your units engage each other kind of thing on the map.
We should say too
Which
that these cards are random. You
yes,
get to you don't get like all of the cards.
no, they're on a pile. You draw these cards, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, so there's two things on the cards, but like for this one, chosen battlefield, pretty much allows you to choose the scenario for the battle, and then you draw an additional initiative card. Whereas the other part of this card is air support, and it's play before land battle. You gain one free forward air observer in this battle as long as you have at least one air unit in front of you. When it means air unit in front of you is you can deploy air units, and they'll zip across the board as well and engage in combats. If you're just doing the regular kind of board game, they have their own rules for it where you pretty much fight each other on a dice roll, or you can do some airstrikes against like ground units to try to destroy them. Otherwise, if you're playing like a campaign, you want to do Blood Red Skies, then you just literally play a Blood Red Skies game, right? So having that air unit in front of you, just as long as it's you have a unit of it, pretty much you can use that air support.
which how sweet is that? Especially as like the Americans,
Mm-hmm.
a free air observer that can go twice. Whoa!
Yeah, and in like there's different ones too, right? Like Informants, which is interesting. Play as an order. So you played at a certain time in the campaign. So you reveal an army unit or look at the army sheet of any revealed army unit. Now, revealed is if it's on the board and it's not concealed, so you actually know that there's an army in a hex. And if you're using these cards, and this is for the campaign using the other systems, each little army is like their own list, right? So very interesting to say the least, having that kind of stuff. Final stand, again, play before the defensive land battle. All infantry and artillery units in your force have the fanatic special rule. If you lose the battle, your units cannot retreat. So, there's stuff like that. And they have it for Cruel Seas. I believe they have, is it 6 or is it 3? 3 cards? Yeah, 3 cards for pretty much each system. So it's interesting that they put these in here. They do replace some other cards, but it gives the the initiative cards and the game a little bit of that extra boost, right? Like, in some other campaigns you take a territory and you get a boost. Well, it's these cards now. So,
And how easy would it be? Sorry to interrupt there. How easy would it
okay.
be to take these cards? You're doing a campaign. You're using a specific map, i.e., D-Day, Normandy map.
Yep.
To take the cards and replace them with something more thematic, and they could even have very similar type rules. Nothing that changes the game. The guy's not going to win or lose because he got to choose a scenario. The guy's not going to win or lose because he got a free air observer. I mean, maybe it's going to play a big part, but it's certainly beatable. I mean, a sniper could take out that air observer in the first round too, or a prep bombardment can. you know, so it's nothing going to change the game that much. But just to add the extra oomph,
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
you throw on some kind of area specific card, you know, that makes sense thematically, and bada bing, bada boom, you just made this generic, system into a really cool campaign for not a lot of work. They kind of did all the hard work for you, which we can attest to. We sat there for freaking like 3 hours,
Yeah, we
and
did.
we came up with nothing. We came up with we're just gonna wait. They're probably going to
Well,
do a better job than us, and we were right.
no, for sure, for sure. And it's cool because like you said, the work is done there, and guys who are in communities or running communities, they can definitely take this and add to it and add their own little spin or make different cards or whatever the case is, right? You have a specific map that you want to play, and it's great because you can start it off with like a large event, which is kind of like an idea in my head of wanting to do that. Start off a large event and have a big group setting of guys battling it out, and then start off your campaign. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to get the hype
Yeah.
rolling, right? But going back to the cards, it's neat because those were initiative cards that we kind of talked about. But there's other cards, and when it comes to the objectives on the board, they did quite well making these cards, and like there's different ones. You have like a commercial hub or a cultural center, fortifications, build up area kind of thing, radar station, and they each are pretty much objectives that you got to try to capture in the game to score points to win, right? And when you're doing it normally, you have to pretty much try to defeat the opponent that's right beside you by rolling dice. But in the campaign part of it, when you're battling it out against your opponent and you're actually having a game of bolt action or blood red skies or something like that, it definitely puts that into perspective of like, okay, well, there is a airfield here, right? Like, this is the objective card. You need to take it. And, they also have other stuff on here too, like radar station. After your opponent completes an air order, you may place an air unit onto an empty hex. So there are things on here that give you bonuses when you capture it. So it's the incentive to kind of like see what's on the board and see what your main objective is to take. Maybe your forces are pushing to take a certain thing because it's going to really give you a bonus. So that's pretty cool. There's that. Again, beautiful thing about that is you can end up making your own eventually, right? They do have, and this is cool too, is national advantage. And they have like Inspired General, Great Navy, half tracks. So these all give you bonuses for stuff too, moving extra hexes, drawing initiative cards, removing blitz tokens, which allow you to go faster, kind of thing. And they're all kind of based off of like a lot of the nations, right? This one I thought was cool, but economic might. So after reinforcing, which is pretty much reinforcing your army or building another army on the board, you discard your hand of initiative cards, and then you would reinforce a second time, so you get a second army, or reinforce a second time, like units that are damaged, right? So
Sweet.
those are cool. They do have other cards like Blitz or opening Gambit. Each player gets one of these, and it like affects right off the bat, really affects your game kind of thing. Each player draws 3 initiative cards, remove the card from the game. First strike, each player draws an initial card, place the card next to the map. The first player to destroy an enemy unit in the land or sea battle gets 1 bonus victory point. So there's cool little things like that. Then you have your resolution cards. Now these are the ones that pretty much will allow you to like capture stuff, and there's also other effects as well. So when you pick your objective cards, you actually have these cards that match those objectives. So like a built-up area. If a player controls the built-up area objective, they gain 1 victory point. The opposing player may then escalate, and then you discard this card. And it's called so you'll have the flip and resolve, and then when you do flip it, they have different ones. And this one's a victory, so that's pretty much how you claim that territory, right?
Sweet.
So there's a bunch of that, but there's also another set of resolution cards, and they'll have wording on it, like that one, repositioning. There's no effect, but then you flip it, and this one will have effects in it too. So it's like no battles take place this turn, that's big. Reveal all units adjacent to an enemy unit. So that happens. Capture, that can happen. So capturing a territory. And then you just discard this card, right? And then there's other stuff like you'll have situations where you have fog. Low visibility, -1 from air raid rolls. And that's for, if you're playing kind of like the board game portion of it, right? So stuff like that. And then you flip it, and it has like each player may choose a battle or reinforce, capture or discard this card. So again, they have multiple things on them. We'll have to see how they play out when we actually try it out. But to me, it seems like a good way of rolling out and having some fun with it. And there's a lot of little different things to the actual game. Little, different scenarios, different resolutions and stuff like that you can do. But when it comes down to it, when you are doing the actual campaign portion of it and including your other games into it, I think which is really cool is they tell you, okay, each little unit that you have on the board on the hex is, for example, bolt action is 1,000 point reinforced platoon or 1,000 point reinforced armored platoon, and they give you, the page number and what books to take it out of. So it's very straightforward. It's very, the leveling field is level. The game field is level. So they really just use the generic theater selectors, which is great. And the beauty thing about it is each of your forces, is an army on its own. And as you're building your armies, they can be different, and you can keep track of that stuff, right? So I like that. As for like the battles, obviously you're going to be playing your games, but when it comes to winner and loser, victor and being defeated, they have a portion here which tell you, what happens. So you actually start losing points from your armies, and you also lose a big chunk that you have to decide where that chunk is coming from. So it tends to actually be able to possibly wipe out full armies that are on the board.
Sweet.
So I do like that. I do like that they have that portion in it. You just got to watch out with, is there going to be a lot of bookkeeping? They do recommend, trying to take out like whole armies when you have to decide the points and whatnot to take away, right? So, but if you have a system set up that's straightforward and everybody's good at keeping track of stuff, then you should be good.
Yeah.
Give yourself time, right? Like, don't try to do it in a week's time and then flip over the next turn. Like, give yourself a week, 2 weeks or so, right? But
Yeah, too. And I was going to say, too, is it depends on your game group or your game situation. Maybe for people playing it at a FLGS, maybe they wanted to just simply your army's wiped out on the board, nice and easy record keeping.
yep.
But if you're playing with two buddies, then in your basement it probably doesn't matter. You can have a guy with an Excel or a piece of paper and keeping track of that a little easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, just cater it to your. I think that's the biggest strength in this whole system is that it's so easy. Even just reading through it, it seems so easy to manipulate to your needs and your desires. Like whatever you
100%.
feel would fit your particular group or your particular group's playing style or what they like more. Maybe your group is really nitty gritty and wants to get it as in depth as possible. I think there's lots of ways to add depth without adding very much difficulty because you're using a fairly simple system. I think you can add a little bit of, a little bit of BattleTech to it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But also you can keep it just plain Jane, and it seems that it will play very simple just by itself. Very little record keeping, easy peasy. So I think you can really just use this as the recipe out of a magazine where you substitute fresh tomatoes for canned tomatoes if you need to.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's a beautiful setup, I would say. The other thing that's actually really, really nice is each of the games, Bolt Action, Cruel Seas, Victory at Seas, Blood Red Skies, they're not overcomplicated games. They're great games. They're strategic games. They have a lot of depth to them, but they're not. There's not a whole lot of crazy super bookkeeping detail to the actual game itself. So having the games like that makes it a lot easier for the campaign as well, right? Because like yourself and myself, like we've played each and every one of those games, and we can easily probably just pick them up and start playing them again, right? Like, Blood Red Skies, we've had a couple games, and it's like it's fairly simple to play, right?
My son, he's 10 and or 9. He's not even 10 yet. He's killer at Blood Red Skies.
And there you go, right? But there's still a little bit of depth to that game. Like when we played, you can see, okay, I need to do this before that to try to get this. This might win me the game. Or if it fails, now I'm in a bad position, right? Like that kind of idea of the game. Bolt Action's Bolt Action. It's still a strategic game. Like, I know if my guys are out in the open, I'll probably get outflanked by some tank and, get the machine gun murder machine on me and get ripped apart, right? Well, better get into that cover, hunker down, just try to survive, hold objectives, right? Victory at Sea, it's a lot of it is positioning and arcing and trying to get off some damn torpedoes. But
yeah, trying to stop those damn torpedoes, I think, is the and
the flights too, right? Like from the carriers and stuff.
Yeah.
So having the games being pretty straightforward and really, really good in my opinion, combined with this campaign mode and these rule sets, you should have no problem setting this stuff up and playing. And it'd be very exciting to see what people do, considering that this stuff is out. There's always crazy ideas going in my head, right? Grandiose ideas, matter if I get to them or not, but it's a start. We'll make it happen. And it's nice because it brings something else to just, showing up and playing games to a community, right? It gets people involved. I know a lot of guys get excited when it comes to events and campaigns and tournaments and all that stuff, and this is just like you said, another tool, right?
Yeah.
So,
it's a toolbox. This is the greatest thing since that a company's done since Hasbro made cartoons for their toys.
No, it's pretty good, and they did quite well with it for just how they kind of worded everything and whatnot in the game as well, and in the book. I wouldn't be surprised if you see maybe another book that came out that maybe was a little bit more advanced play in it as an option. That'd be cool too. But I think this is great where it's at, and very excited to put it into practice. I'm sure you and me will slug it out.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, again, it's nice that really you can use these rules. You can use the campaign section in it, even if you're only just playing bolt action. All the other stuff, they have whatever else you need in the board game kind of portion of it, to use that in your campaign as well, and to pretty much be able to actually play it out. So
yeah,
to give you that kind of full effect, right?
You can play it out, individual battles, or you can use the dice roll mechanic like from the board game. Easy peasy.
Yep. Yeah, and they even say in here, for guys to however they want to make their campaign, however they want to adjust it, like it's all here, so you're good to go. So 2 thumbs up on my end, that's for sure. Keep up the good work for that. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this.
I think so.
First,
I have to lose this campaign that we're playing now.
Yeah.
Then we'll have to lose. Then we'll have to play the other campaign with this.
Yeah, no, this will take a little bit of planning to do with just with the map and stuff that I have, and then plus some of the digital work that I tend to do for some of the communities. So this will be cool, having some battle reports and orders being issued, and really putting in that thematic kind of feel to I'm the general of the Southern Army or whatever, or the Northern Battle Group or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's nice because you could do this, and of course you can track down some other tools like Leanne did from Red Claw Gaming. There, she found that map for me I don't know, year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and it's just from a different gaming company, but it'll work so well with this because it's literally hex system just like they have, right?
1-inch hex
Yep.
grid, can't complain.
So it works overall. It'll be great. It'll be good fun. I hope you guys are hyped as much as I am and Jason are for this Combined Arms. Maybe you guys have already started. Maybe you guys have started playing some games. You got a campaign going. Hit us up. Show me some pictures. I'd love to see that stuff.
Do you have card ideas?
Exactly. Right.
We want to steal from you.
So it'll be great to see what the community and whatnot, has in store, and see how it all goes. But I think that might be kind of a good place to be for this episode. Any other comments there, Jason, on your end? Last comments?
No, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to actually using the tools to create a campaign with it.
Nice.
And playing it out, and I'm looking forward to our next round of this campaign, and hopefully not getting our butts kicked so harshly. But I will remind people, especially the people in our gaming group, the Russians did get a little bit of a butt kicking, and then guess what? They came back. So
no, that is
true. Just you wait, people.
Well said. Well said. Definitely. We'll have to make sure the commissars are doing their job this time around. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments or questions or anything like that, hit us up on the Facebook, Instagram, email us, all that stuff. Show me some pics. Stuff that you've painted up. Maybe you got some battle forces. Maybe you have a themed army. Maybe you made a display or even working on some terrain. I'd love to see that stuff too. Hit us up. Throw it on the Facebook page, all that kind of stuff. Or even tag us in there, right? So I will be definitely working on some more bolt action. I know I got some terrain pieces that I've been working on, which are going to be interesting to paint. Again, thanks everybody for stopping in and listening, and hope you enjoyed. And we will catch you next time.
Ciao.
Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.